deacons meeting there, and I think that'll be great. So yeah, go ahead.
I mean, do I say my name?
Sure.
Okay.
Just say who you are.
All right. My name is Julie Higgins, and I've been going to People's Baptist Church for over a year. And, I knew Christ growing up when I was a child. I had the idea who he was, and I attend church, reading Bible studies and reading verses, but I never really took it in as a personal belief. I would go to church with my friends, my family, and I wanted to be saved, but I felt like I wanted to be saved more out of fear and not really accepting Christ as my personal Savior and following him. As the years passed, I knew the Word, and I would know about God, and I just didn't really apply it to my life. And, I kind of drifted in and out, knowing about Christ and know he was, but I never really took it more personal. I became very selfish, prideful, and I started living my own life until recently when something really drastic happened in my life. I realized that I didn't really have, the answers. I didn't have comfort, I didn't have peace. And I began to search my life and in other places, and it turned out that I felt really empty inside, and I came back to Christ. I was going to church more, and I was making more friends, and I was starting to get more of a picture, more of an idea who Christ was. And it's interesting because there was a time where something, drastic happened, and I started going to church, and I started really praying. I wanted God to be more in my life, and I wanted to serve him. I wanted to do more. I want to have more of a purpose in life. And, I began praying, taking it more personal, and there was a time where I wanted to go on vacation and I wanted to see my dad, and I took time off. I took maybe about a week or so off. No, just a week off actually. And inside, I didn't want to see my dad. I kind of just wanted to stay home and just meditate or just take time off and relax. And a couple of days later, after submitting that, my father called me and he said, there's some family issues, there's some family problems going. It's best that if you just stay home, or it's best that you just kind of, stay. Maybe after the holidays, maybe we can get back in touch, maybe you can come over and visit me in Connecticut, but right now, I think it's best if you come back another time. So I was kind of relieved about that, and I just did some more praying. And one church Sunday, the pastor was talking about the discipleship and exchange, and I thought this was a great opportunity to get closer to Christ. And I was thinking, maybe I can work with friends, maybe I can talk to my roommate more about Christ. And, I had some answers, and I just wanted to, spread the word. And I remember after that service, I was looking for the pastor, and, I wanted to talk to him. I said, how do I get more involved? How do I read up about the exchange, And he was actually in the back talking to somebody else after the service. And I remember walking out, and I'm thinking, all right, maybe this is just a bad idea. Maybe I should just go. And I remember just having that thought, or hearing a voice inside of me say, don't worry about it, just go home. And I'm walking away out of the service, walking to the hallway, and I happened to see Mrs. Regner, and I was thinking, you know what, maybe she would know where I can find the Bible study, the Living Exchange workbooks. So I came up to her and I asked her, Mrs. Regner, do you know anything about the Living Exchange? You know, where can I find these books? And, you know, I'm thinking in my head, I have an idea like, you know, I want to do this with my friends. I just, you know, really get close to Christ this way. And she said, oh, do you want to do this with me? And, you know, in my head, I'm like, well, sure, you know, yeah, that's a great idea. And I just remember thinking, you know, oh, you know, I wanted to do this with my friends more, but thinking later, like, you know what, this is actually a better option. And I think that, you know, sometimes you have an idea what's best for you. You have an idea in your head, you have a plan, but God knows better. God has a plan for you. And it may not be what you imagine, but God always knows best. And I'm thinking to myself, who on earth can I be that's more of a godly woman that I know of? And how this was such a great opportunity, how God aligned these days off. You know, I could have spent time with my father, but God knew that this was the right time for me to develop my personal relationship with him. And I remember after that decision and going to Bible study with Mrs. Regner, I had this thirst for Christ that I never had growing up. And this desire, it was like some kind of truth that I spiritually longed for. And it was the most amazing thing that has ever happened to me. When I accepted Christ to be my personal Savior, December 21st, 2014, was doing the Living Exchange. It changed my life. It was the best thing that has ever happened. And I'm just amazed how God will line things up for you. And then after doing the Bible study, talking to the pastor, and, you know, I want to be baptized, it was the best choice. I don't know what else to say now.
It's fine.
Okay. I know this just went on and on. I just didn't know what, you know.
That's good. That's